Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. A little bit of a disturbing report out today that shows, will the Democrats really be in for the blue wave everyone thinks that they are in for come November? We will be, of course, keeping a very close eye on this entire situation as it does unfold, because there's a lot of stuff there. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And yeah, so we do, of course, have a lot of stuff to get in today, and we will get into it now. And, of course, it starts with one thing. As you may remember, that election night skit done the first Saturday Night Live after the 2016 election. It all started out with pretty much a group of white friends in their New York City loft or whatever it was. And it was all, like, they were so confident Hillary Clinton was going to win. They were talking to their friends at CBS, Slate Magazine, The Hill, and they said, oh, how much is Hillary going to win by? And they even, at one point, took a moment to make this hilarious, but so painfully accurate toast. When things get tough on election night.
Okay, this says Florida is too close to call.
Okay, no, it says too early to call. There's only 1% in.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and call it. Florida's going blue. To Latinos.
To Latinos.
To Latinos. That's the theme of today's episode. And the Democrats, they're in a lot of key places around the country for this midterms. They're going to need the support of the Latinos. And it's, let's just put it this way. I mean, I don't really know how to break the news. It's not going well. And yeah, what we're going to be talking about today is the Latino support that's so necessary and was something the Democrats should have given the alternative option, based on the way that, Republicans and the Republican base view Latinos, Hispanics, people from the south of our border. But still, somehow, it just seems that people are not really getting it. The Democrats are not getting it. They don't know how to appeal to the Latinos. And one thing that the Democrats are probably going to do, but should be very careful not to do, is in any way try and voter shame. Because it's something that they have, believe it or not, they've been prone to voter shame these people and say, oh, blame it on Latinos. They're just not showing up for us. Well, there's a reason. And it's because you suck. If you can't get just look on the other side. Like, you have Donald Trump calling Mexicans rapists, tearing families away from borders, immigrant raids outside hospitals, schools, and courthouses, and an onslaught of ads and speeches delivering insults and racist remarks towards Latinos. If you have that on the other side, and you still somehow fail to get Latinos to turn out the polls for you, there's no other way to explain it. Like, you suck, and you should all resign immediately. I just don't know how to put it any more plainly, because this is just not working at all. Interviews with dozens of Hispanic voters in Nevada and California, two key battleground states where the Hispanic vote will play a big factor, conducted by the New York Times, showed a more complicated picture that's deeply alarming to Democratic Party officials. Away from campaign rallies and candidates, many voters say they felt disempowered rather than emboldened, and they expressed feelings of cynicism, apathy, and fear fueled by the highly fraught political moment. Others said the message about immigration policy alone is not enough to motivate them. And by the way, this is something that makes perfect, absolute sense here. Like, if you're Latino, you live in America, you feel settled in, you have your job, you have your life, you shouldn't be expected to vote just by immigration policy. And I mean, I think this kind of speaks to a very much a broader problem with the Democratic Party message. It's that they don't really have a coherent set of policies that's actually going to come out and excite people, other than we really want, it's just that so oftentimes, and I mean, I don't think it really matters who you are, whether you're white, whether you're Hispanic, whether you're Asian, like, the Democratic Party, like, they have this message that's, we don't like the whole separation of border stuff, but they don't really seem to want to lay out their own immigration policy. They don't have specific plans for what they're going to do once they get back in charge, which is a little bit amazing. And it's kind of the same way that the GOP is kind of handled Obamacare. Like, they've been railing against Obamacare for the entire length of the Obama presidency, but once again, power, they have nothing to do to fix it. They have nothing to do to rectify that problem. And it seems like the GOP the Democrats, they have the same situation. They just don't have any real method of bringing back or establishing some order or some basic humanity to the immigration process. And especially, though, not even just with immigration, but with other key issues that a lot of people care about. Like, the Democrats really seem to be lacking a lot of them anyway, seem to be lacking for any, like, real clear policy convictions, which is the same problem that they faced in 2016. And still nothing really has gone from it. So, and the key thing here, and it's going to be tough. It's like, it may sound crazy, but it's going to be tough for a lot of people, especially in the Democratic Party, to say, oh, those damn Latinos, they didn't show up for us. No. It's all on you if you can't get a certain voter base to show up for you, because that's the way the election works. Voters aren't pledged to you. It's not the way our democracy works. They can make up their own minds, and you have to always keep them together. And a really kind of a damning quote from a particular voter, Cesar Gustamente, who's 28, in Las Vegas, said, "It's the same as in Mexico. They promise people they're going to help, and they don't." And that is a key thing a lot of people have problems with, and I'm going to play the air horn for this. Interesting point. People just don't seem to feel like the politicians are listening to them regardless of party. And that's a very impactful thing. This is something that Democrats should be taking into. And Gustamente voted for Hillary in 2016. It has been upset by Trump's language, but says there are points in time where you're just wasting your time on voting, and that's the same issue. I think he's in a situation where he has to pick. I think Jackie Rosen is challenging Dean Heller in Nevada for the Senate seat. I don't really know where he is. I think in Las Vegas, Clark County. I don't know who's representing him there, but it just seems to be really just annoying that he, again, obviously you should vote, but when there's no candidate out there who you think is going to actually come in and help you, it's very tough to get motivated to vote. It's very, very tough to get motivated to vote. And again, that lies. I mean, you can implore them to vote all you want. You can implore your voters to vote for you, or just vote in general. You can do as many get out the vote concerts as you want. But, and Hillary Clinton knows this well, she put out Jay-Z, Beyonce, every big name under the sun. But still, there was awful turnout for her. And you have to have someone who's going to be excited for you, who you're going to be excited for, who's going to represent you, and people are actually wanting to turn out and vote for them. And that's not the way it is right now. I think I'm getting the sense with Jackie Rosen in Nevada, or really anymore. So an election year intensity gap between whites and Hispanics is one of the biggest worries for Democrats heading into the midterms. They stand a far better chance of capturing many of the Republican-held House districts that voted for Hillary Clinton, they say, if Hispanic adults registered and voted in greater numbers. A recent NBC Wall Street Journal national survey showed a spike in interest in the election among Hispanic voters, but part of the challenge of Democrats is that sharp divisions. There are, no surprise, Hispanics are people too, not just one liberal group. Political decisions and divisions are also shaped by age, region, and some of the immigration histories of their families, according to the New York Times. Exit polls after the 2016 election say that 30% of Latino voters supported Trump, though some surveys put that figure closer to 20. I find a hard time believing that it was 30. And the fact that even if it was 20, it just seems like, wow. At the local level, Hispanic voters are even more willing to support Republicans they know, creating difficulties for Democrats in an election where some of the most imperiled GOP incumbents may not be as vulnerable as they seem on paper. To paint all Latinos with the same brush as being Democrats and having progressive views on issues, even on immigration, is being a little bit too simplistic. Organizers have to get the nuances of various Latino populations, and that may be something that Democrats struggle with the most, actually talking to people. Republicans don't really need to do that because they can just shove your message down your face because they have all the big money donations. The Democrats, well, they're the party. The Republicans are the party of the few. We know that. There's evidence of that. Like, they can't seem to really elect a president. Like, the last two Republican presidents have been, which is pretty much in the modern age. Like, I really don't count, like, 1980 as the modern age, sorry. But George Bush and Donald Trump, they were elected without the will of the people. The will of the people was not behind them. And I think something like 18% of the population is represented by the Republicans in our current House, and they control the majority of the seats. It's crazy that how many evidence of the party, how many pieces of evidence there is that they're the party of the few. There is all the money that funds them comes from very few people. And yeah, their support seems to just be more isolated by the day. But still, that leaves the Democrats in the role as the party of the many, the party of the people, the party who is going to have to be the one who actually rallies behind everyone and supports. It's for everyone. The way Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez ran her campaign. For the many, not the few, Labor in England, and the only way you can do that is to get out, talk to people, understand these concerns, know your voters, know whatever district you're in. You got to know your voters, and you got to work together to understand that. And it's the most important thing, in my opinion, about the election. There is some precedent here for the Democrats to worry, though, when it comes to the Latinos. While many political strategists believe that Trump's anti-immigrant stance during the 2016 presidential election would propel historic numbers of Hispanic voters to turn out, the percentage of eligible Hispanics who actually cast ballots declined modestly from 2012, according to census data analyzed by William Frey of the Brookings Institute. I don't know, like Brookings. Ugh. But still, the fact that they can't get these people out just shows they probably. If I had to guess, I haven't seen any polls, but if I had to guess, they care about things like the economy. Because they're living in the country, too. They're not focused on immigrating in the country. The people who probably care most about immigration are the people who are immigrating and, scared Fox News viewers. But not the people who are living here. The people, the Latinos who are living here, they probably care about issues that will affect them when and wow they're actually living here, which makes a lot of sense to me. And that's probably one of the biggest deal. Immigrants are being targeted in political advertising, and it's having a big, real negative impact. Mary Kay Henry said, who runs the Service Employees International Union. Henry, who's involved in mobilizing her union's Hispanic members, says some are wary of civic engagement. We've had to double down on the outreach, they say. And, I mean, that is actually a big logistical concern for some immigrants. It's just who maybe don't have the most solid of immigration status. Is it going to be safe for me to come in? Is it going to be safe for me to actually mobilize for the candidates that I want to fight for? We just don't know. Of the 23 Republican-held House districts, and this is a key point. This is worth highlighting. Of the 23 Republican-held House districts that Hillary carried, 11 have populations that are at least 20% Hispanic. Very important there. That's something worth keeping in mind. And the Hispanics, they're going to be important in those districts and turning those districts, because 20% in what is going to be close elections like these, and these are ranked by the New York Times as toss-up and all that. So that's what they need, is to find a way to actually get Hispanics vote. And they're going to have to look beyond immigration. Probably what I think would work is something that ensures healthcare, something that ensures especially high-quality labor rights would be a very big deal for these people, to get assured that they're going to be able to come in and have the right and be able to actually find a job, especially if they're coming newly into the country and they maybe not be able to find a high-paying job. Maybe they want to work in a service industry, or maybe any maybe work in a restaurant, maybe work as a taxi driver, not a very high-paying job. They'll probably want to be sure, and it's just my mind working here, is that they're going to actually be able to find a job that they're going to fit in, and they're going to be well supported, and maybe